Okay, well, design. What is it? And it could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And no matter what the form of design, whether it is conceptual or whether it is more practical in nature, design can mean a lot of things and it can mean new ideas. But good design is good business, just like bad design can be quite bad for business. And I pulled this definition off of the web. Design has these literal meanings about drawings produced to show the look and function of something before it is made. And it can be the intention that is behind a planned action or object, but the design profession itself has come a long way. There are industrial designers as well as UI or user interface designers, and these folks can work in the physical world creating watches that interact with your heartbeat and your phone and the web at the same time. uh, they can live in the digital world. And this is the Wikipedia definition for web design, and you see the key elements here being graphic design, interface design, authoring, which is really about coding, user experience design, and search engine optimization. But whatever the form, the truth about design is that it always evolves. It sometimes mimics previous generations, bringing back elements and contemporizes them, but it always evolves. And that's why the profession has grown so much. Design is a part of our lives, and everything we interact with has a design that has preceded it. So, for digital design, I thought it would be fun to take us back in time a little bit into the 90s. And there wasn't a lot of thought going on around design when it came to building websites. And a lot of that had to do with the connections that were going on at the time, and also the fact that it was a new field and design hadn't really gotten into the digital mode. But here are some great examples from the early 90s. This is MSN's first website. I'll pull it up. Let's see it. There it is. Okay, there's MSN's. Here's the BBC's. Here's Yahoo's first iteration. This beauty is from McDonald's, and my personal favorite, this tribute to David Hasselhoff. All right. Then came the 2000s, when design started to separate from content. And I'll show you a couple of examples from CSO.org. This is the first CSO.org, which is the first CSO site I had built in 2000. And then we did have some updated seating features and a new homepage in 2003. But you can see that there's a deliberate approach to organizing content and content flow, while also recognizing the importance of the calendar in shopping and bringing it to the forefront. We had bold banner images to sell key concerts while calling out other featured events. And you can see the hierarchy of flow that was present, with a limited selection of main navigational areas. The other thing that the 2000s brought was true interactive functionality. And I will take you to our first select your own seat tool. We were the first orchestra to use one. I remember being told by some ticketing providers that no one would want to do this because patrons would leave orphan seats between their two purchases so that they could put their coats there, and would result in lost sales. And I think it was just an excuse for them not to do it. And you can see that you can play around and look at the different areas of the hall. You get a rather digitized or pixelated view of a concert, a live concert. Also, it was much smaller. Actually, it was about this big. But remember, browser windows were much smaller, and monitors were much smaller, had much smaller resolution. But you could go in, pick your own seats. We had this Know Your Seat feature. If you knew exactly where you wanted to go, your favorite seat in the hall, you could see if it was available. And there you go. Okay. Well, let's flash forward to 2009. You can see how things changed. Again, the proliferation of broadband connections and rich media online enabled us to add bolder images, a lot more color. These things would get dragged down by older internet connections. And when you have streaming audio, because that is important to us and who we are as an organization as well. So also, what we had in this time is that Flash had become an even more important tool in interactive sales functionality. And this is our Select Your Own Seat tool today, which I will take you to. You can see how we have much bolder images, larger images from which to select the seats. And let's go into this event. It's our Symphony Ball. I'll select my seats. And what has really happened is, people can go in, and while it is a really an entertaining way to go in and check out the hall and pick your seats, it actually helps with sales because people see exactly where they're going to be seated, and they get a feel of what the real experience is going to be from a visual perspective in the concert hall when they're buying. Also, you can see that we are able to do much more with layering, which is a visual layer on top of where you are on a website, so you can do something else but not lose your place. This enables us to let a patron put tickets in their cart from almost any page on our site without having to send someone through a cart process, and that's meant quite a bit, and it actually has increased sales because people can continue to add to their cart without taking them through a separate cart flow, which is the way it used to be. Now, today, things are much different. They are different from a design perspective, which is driven by changes in visual interest, but also as a result of technological innovation. Now, I provided you with a link of 18 pivotal web design trends for 2014. Check them out. I will go to that page just to show you, and you have the link in this content folder, so you don't have to copy what I'm doing here, but this is what the page looks like. There's some great trends that I think you should take a look at. But I am going to summarize what those are for you now. First trend is HTML5, and without going into a lot of detail here, just knowing this is what is killing Flash, in all honesty, what HTML5 does is it allows designers to animate without having to use a plugin like Flash, which requires constant updates and upgrades of that external source. And that's what drove Steve Jobs crazy about Flash, and that's why he wouldn't have it added on any of his Apple mobile devices. It actually helped fuel innovation, though, with him not wanting to see that implemented, because people design for those Apple unique experiences, and certainly that helped push the innovation of HTML5. And so there are a couple of examples here. This first one is Arcade Fire's The Wilderness Downtown, and you will see birds coming off from the right. There they are. And you can see not only are they animated and flying, but I can interact with them with my mouse. And what you'll find is more animation is done more easily without using a lot of resources to drag down a site. Here's another example from let's see where we go. Oh, Macquarie University's Green Campus program. And really simple, beautiful illustrations and navigation, and that animation of those little bubbles just creates a great opportunity for exploration of what is going on the campus, what are the resources for the students, and it's just a fun way to really explore the campus and what they're doing there. Okay, now the next trend is flat page design and tiled design, and think Pinterest when you think of this, because everyone has pretty much ripped off Pinterest. What you also see in these environments, you see clearly it's visual heavy, right? And that is the lead with all of these things, and that's great. But what you also see here is the single page design, and that you're scrolling down and to get more and more content. And mobile access has gotten people used to scrolling. While in the old days, it was about trying to design for the first screen view that you would get to make sure that all of your content was at the highest level, your most important content was up there. And you still see that. You need to have a hierarchy of content and make sure your most important stuff is up above where the screen cuts off. But people are used to scrolling for exploration now. So you have to think about that when you're designing based on the hierarchy of content that you have available. The next trend is large images and simple design, and broadband connections have really helped us have large images with simple designs leveraging those large images. And sites like this used to crash your browser in the old days, but not now. And here's really a great example that I will take you to. Here we go. And this is Ultramarine Films, and they're a documentary filmmaker, and clearly it's important for them to have bold images that connect to the film work that they're doing, and I think that they've done a really beautiful job here connecting to their creativity and the importance of images. And finally, we have the trend for responsive design. Responsive design means a website that responds to deliver content in a certain way based on the screen resolution on which it's being viewed. This is our CSO Sounds and Stories website that I will take you to. Here we go. And it is a responsive design that uses content marketing and really helps us tell the story around the performances and adds context around the art. It launches off of our core site. And what you can also see is how we have gone through the hierarchy of content. So the most important content has the larger images at the top, and it starts to cascade lower, and you can continue to explore, but we still have prominence around the top. You also see how how the actual site itself, when we go back, how here's beyond the score. We have a lot of video, which is another trend, a major trend. You'll see much more video. And here's our Wagner tribute for his 200th birthday. The Tristan effect in our Beyond the Score series, where we have a lot of rich video. While you're even playing video, you can see how the site will actually respond and deliver a different presentation based on how the viewer is experiencing and viewing the site. And it will adapt whether they're watching on a handheld phone or on a tablet device in portrait or in tabloid view, or clearly if they're looking on a PC and it expands to its full width. That's what is responsive. It is relative sizing based on the user's experience and their screen experience. Okay, now, so these are the trends going on, and I think I look forward to having a conversation with you, because what you'll see is the same trends, I think, through 2015, but it'll be interesting to see what comes on the horizon, and we'll have a great conversation together on that topic as we share remarkable sites that we think are important and worth having a conversation about. So I look forward to talking with you all about that. Thanks. See you soon.